You're listening to Silver Anniversary Movies. The podcast is celebrating their silver anniversary. So, can you guess the movie that's celebrating their 25 years of release?
Today, I'm going back to January 26, 1996. There was 5 movies that came out today. The first one had a 0% on Tomato Meter with a 19% audience score. David Leary returns to Hastings, Minnesota, the childhood hometown he was happy to escape years ago. But when David, now a writer and single father, takes a teaching position at his old school, he's a kid again, tormented by the very same bully, Peg, who made his school days a living hell. The two men instantly assume their own roles of victim and tormentor. But when their sons start continuing the abuse, the men may finally have to grow up. It's rated PG. It's a comedy, directed by Steve Miner, produced by Lee Ridge and Gary Foster. It is 1 hour and 33 minutes long. Some of the cast and crew: Curtis Armstrong as Clark, Jeffrey Tambor as Art, Carol Kane as Faith, Julianne Phillips as Victoria, Tom Arnold as Roscoe Bigger, and Rick Moranis as David Leary. Alright, the name of the movie is Big Bully. It is streaming on Starz and Starz Amazon channel, or you can rent or buy it on Amazon Video, Vudu, Google Play, YouTube, and Microsoft Store. 19% on the Tomato Meter with a 67% audience score. Workaholic Lisa, long ago shut down emotionally, retreating into a shell during her painful childhood. Career is foremost in her mind, and romance the very last thing. That changes when she receives a stunning bouquet of flowers from a secret admirer. When she asks the florist, Lewis, where they came from, he admits they are from him. Lewis sweeps Lisa off her feet and seems to be her perfect man. But he, too, harbors a painful past. It is rated PG. It's a romance. Directed by Michael Goldenberg. Produced by Alan Bindle. 1 hour, 27 minutes long. By New Line Cinema and Juno Pick. Some of the cast and crew: Deborah Monk as Lewis Long, Allie Walker as Wendy, Josh Brolin as Danny, Pamela Adlon as Kim, Mary Stuart Masterson as Lisa Walker, and Christian Slater as Lewis Farrell. Alright, the name of the movie is Bed of Roses. And I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. Hey, 28% on Tomato Meter rating with a 45% audience score. Commander Joe Hendrickson and new recruit Ace Jefferson set out across the surface of Sirius 6B, where they hope to settle a violent labor dispute at a remote mining outpost. After going too far to turn back, they find the desert riddled with deadly autonomous mobile swords, or screamers. Created to protect the mines, these burrowing weapons have learned to replicate themselves. To make matters worse, recent generations of screamers can assume humanoid form. It's rated R. It's an action film, directed by Christian Duguay, produced by Tom Berry and Franco Batista, written by Dan O'Bannon and Miguel Tejada Flores. 1 hour, 45 minutes long by Triumph Films. Some of the cast and crew: Michael Colos as David, Andrew Lauer as Ace Jefferson, Jennifer Rubin as Jessica Hansen, Charles Edwin Powell as Ross, Roy Dupuis as Becker, and Peter Weller as Joe Hendrickson. The name of the movie is Screamers, and it's streaming on Starz, DirecTV, and Starz Amazon channel. You can rent it on Apple iTunes, or you can rent or buy it on Amazon Video, Fandango Now, Vudu, Redbox, Google Play, YouTube, Microsoft Store, and DirecTV. Next one, 71% on Tomato Meter with a 68% audience score. In Victorian England, wealthy patriarch Sir Harold Alabaster invites an impoverished biologist, William Adamson, into his home. There, William tries to continue his work, but is distracted by Alabaster's seductive daughter, Eugenia. William and Eugenia begin a torrid romance, but as the couple become closer, the young scientist begins to realize that dark, disturbing things are happening behind the closed doors of Alabaster Manor. It is rated R. It's a drama directed by Philip Haas, produced by Carrie Orrit and Belinda Haas. It is 1 hour and 58 minutes long by Samuel Goldwyn Company. Some of the cast and crew: Annette Badland as Lady Alabaster, Douglas Hinshaw as Edgar Alabaster, Jeremy Kemp as Sir Harold Alabaster, Patsy Kensett Healy as Eugenia Alabaster, Kristen Scott Thomas as Maddie Crompton, and Mark Rylance as William Adamson. The name of the movie is Angels and Insects, and I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. Alright. Last one, 71% on tomato meters, 86% audience score. It's 1946 in Mississippi, and young Cliff, living under the care of great-grandfather Papa and great-grandfather Ma Pearl, is starting to notice the world around him. But it isn't a pretty one for blacks in the South, and over the span of 16 years, Cliff gets introduced to segregation and sadness. But hope finally arises when his close-knit community bands together to fight for civil rights in a non-violent way. Some of the cast and crew: Charles Earl Taylor Jr. as Cliff, age 5, Richard Roundtree as Cleve, Polly Bergen as Miss Mabry, Felicia Rashad as Ma Punk, Paula Kelly as Ma Pearl, and Al Freeman Jr. as Papa. Alright, the name of the movie is Once Upon a Time When We Were Colored. And this, couldn't find it streaming anywhere. Alright, well that's it for January 26, 1996. Have fun watching the movies.
This show is brought to you by Heartland Production Entertainment. If you'd like to help to make the show better, go to patreon.com/heartlandpae.